This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
70 years. He is the editor of Inc. magazine and Inc.com. James Ledbetter is on this edition of Conversations. James Ledbetter is a seasoned journalist and editor with a track record at some of the nation's most respected publications and digital properties. Early in his career, he made a name for himself at the Village Voice, becoming a must-read for his critiques of New York media. During the tech boom of the late 1990s, he joined the Industry Standard, a new magazine covering technology. As the tech boom went bust, the magazine went bankrupt. Ledbetter would go on to write a book about the experience entitled Starving to Death on 200 Million, The Short, Absurd Life of the Industry Standard. He's also written several other books, including his latest, Unwarranted Influence, Dwight D. Eisenhower and the Military-Industrial Complex. Prior to joining Inc. magazine, Ledbetter served as opinion editor with Reuters. We welcome the current editor of Inc. magazine and Inc.com to Conversations, James Ledbetter. Thank you for joining us.
Jeff, it's great to be here.
You chuckled a little bit in my intro, reliving the past a little, huh?
You know, some glory days. I mean, the Industry Standard was a fantastic experience. I mean, we in the year 2000. We sold more ad pages than any magazine in the history of America. And 8 months later, we were bankrupt. I mean, wow. that was the arc.
And for those who don't remember, that was all the technology boom of the .com era.
As a journalist, I mean, it was fascinating because you get on the phone with these companies, and you didn't have to go through any of the PR mechanism. They all knew who you were working for because they were all reading it. I mean, it was just this really tightly knit world, but it fell apart, and it fell apart fast and spectacularly. I think something like within 3 months, like a 67% drop in advertising. Literally, the advertisers went out of business. The companies we were covering went out of business. There was nothing left to write about. Those were the days.
Interesting. So recently, you were at Reuters and moved over to Inc. Why make the change?
This is such an interesting moment. Reuters was trying to do something different to distinguish itself from Bloomberg, to kind of break out of just the wire service facts, quick update stuff. We were trying to produce a state-of-the-art digital presence, and my boss in that endeavor, Chrystia Freeland, was just yesterday appointed to be the International Trade Minister of Canada, as will happen. She sort of left one day, and she was standing for Parliament in Canada, and the Liberals won in the most recent election, and now she's the International Trade Minister. Hi, Chrystia. Tremendous talent, but at the end of the day, it was too expensive for Reuters, frankly, and they pulled the plug. And I had an opportunity to work with a guy who I'd known for several years at Inc., Eric Schoenberg, who's still my boss. And boy, we're having some fun. Inc. is just a terrific publication, and we're knocking down walls every day.
How would you describe Inc.?
Sure.
What do you cover?
Yeah, so Inc. is the publication for entrepreneurs and small business owners. Founded in 1979, before entrepreneurship was cool, before there was Shark Tank on ABC, and before there were movies made about Steve Jobs. We have Steve Jobs on the cover in 1981. Wow. This man will change business forever. Walter Isaacson, who wrote the biography of Steve Jobs, wrote for us that he first learned about Steve Jobs from Inc. magazine. So we've been around that long, and it's a how-to guide. What do you do with hiring? What do you do with HR? What do you do with financing? What do you do with outsourcing? I mean, just every month, tips for the person who's founded a business, wants to know how to run that business, and also, obviously, stories about successful people, inspirations, cautionary tales. That's Inc. magazine, and it's a blast.
How do you go about finding the stories?
The stories find us. It really. I mean, you know, one of the great things about ink. I said I worked at Time magazine for several years, and what I always say is, at Time, you know, you produce a good story, but you have no idea who your reader is. Like somebody's your friend's mom subscribes to Time, right? But you write a story about Congress, you think maybe somebody in Congress reads it, but nobody calls you.
Right.
You don't hear anything about it. Ink. We know our readers. We meet them at our conferences. They have founded businesses. They're amazingly excited. They have incredible stories. They find us. Quite frankly, I mean, we had on the cover in the November issue a guy called Dan Price, who in April of this year decided that he was going to pay everybody on his staff a minimum wage of $70,000. He runs a payments facilitator business in Seattle. And you know, there were people making $35,000 a year. He took everybody up to $70K. Some people quit because now, you know, that guy who was just hired, who has no experience, is making the same amount of money as me. Not many. But he claims he is far more productive, far more profitable than ever, and he is thrilled to be on the cover of Ink. Like, it's just there he is. Is this the best boss in America? Just a terrific story, and it's so exciting and exhilarating to be able to capture the energy of these people who are, you know, the drivers of our economy.
Right. Do you think this is one of the best times in our country to be an entrepreneur because of all the technology?
I absolutely do. Technology is a big part of it. It is. I think it's easier than ever to found a business. Also, for the moment, capital's pretty cheap. You know, interest rates at a kind of 6-7 years now of 0%. The lower bound, as they say, of federal interest rates. So money is relatively easy to get. Technology is amazing. The cost. When I think about the industry standard, when you were founding a tech business in the 1990s, the amount of money that you would spend on servers, for example, millions of dollars, and now you can rent it. You know, Amazon Web Services, $20 a month for the same amount of storage. 3D printing has made modeling your prototypes so incredibly easy and cheap. I mean, it's just miles away from what it was even 15 or 20 years ago. So yeah, I do think we are going through a golden age of entrepreneurship, and long may it last.
Yeah. Over your years of covering business, what's the biggest change that you've noticed?
The pace of change. The change is change.
Yeah.
Not to be flip, but I think that the cycle of how things change now is so accelerated, and businesses find themselves, you think you're sort of in this business, and all of a sudden something comes from out of the blue, and it knocks you for a loop. That is the biggest change. I'll give a personal example. In media, you work for Ink magazine. You think your competitors are Forbes, Fortune, Business Week, etc. I lost an editor this year to Etsy.
Etsy.
She went to go work for Etsy. She's now the head of content for a company that, it's not in the media space, right? But it's like everything is molding together. Everything is changing all the time, and you have to, as a leader, as a business person, respond to all these things that you didn't necessarily think you were, in that space when you started, but you are. Another great example is TripAdvisor has completely changed the hotel business. Again, you're running a hotel. You don't think you need to think about, exactly. I mean, obviously you want to serve your customers, but you don't think that their opinions collected are going to change the way you do business. Guess what? Now it does, right? Yes. Now it is completely transformed. So yeah, technology, the crowd, the empowerment of the crowd, and pace of change. Those things taken together define 21st century America.
Speaking of change, one of the industries that's being totally disrupted by technology is this industry, the media industry, print, television, radio, perhaps to a lesser degree. Where do you see it going?
Well, I think story remains really powerful. This is the good news. The business that you and I grew up thinking that we're going into was about finding and telling stories. And actually that doesn't change. The way we tell them has changed tremendously and probably will continue to change. Customization, in other words, I as a reader now, I don't want the New York Times to land on my doorstep every day and tell me what the news is. I want to be able to pick and choose the things that I'm interested in, assemble my own newspaper digitally, on my mobile phone, like not just once a day, but many times a day.
Right.
That customization and individualization is really important. Another big change, Jeff, it can't be understated, is the relationship between the advertisers and the reader or the consumer, whatever you want to call him or her, is undergoing a tremendous change. So it used to be, again, you used to open a magazine, here's an ad from Ryder Trucks. Well, these days, Ryder Trucks might have its own blog. Ryder Trucks wants to produce its own content. They want to put that content on their website. They want to put it on my website. Not stuff that we've written at Inc., but they've written. They want to reach the consumer, the reader, in a direct way, just like they do now through the internet. They don't go through a middleman to sell the truck anymore. They want to reach the consumer that directly too. That's a big change, and how you negotiate those relationships is a profound change. It's exciting, actually, and some companies are really good at it. Actually, better. I mean, a very good example. American Express, long time business advertiser, long time supporter of small business publications like my own. A few years ago, they started something called American Express Open Forum, where they're commissioning videos, they're commissioning articles, doing interviews with prominent CEOs, the kind of stuff that we would fight for 3 months to get an interview with Jeff Bezos, right? Now they've got Jeff Bezos. Now that's interesting. So they're going to put that on American Express Open Forum, and maybe if you're lucky, they'll let you run it on your site so people will watch it. That's groundbreaking compared to the old advertising relationship.
How does a publication like yours, though, how do you balance that independent journalism portion with paid content?
It's tough. I mean, we talk about it almost every day. There have to be some lines. You on the website. I think it's important for the reader, for our integrity, to delineate. This is a paid message versus this is an article that has been produced by an independent writer. So there's a kind of aesthetic differentiation, and there's also a voice differentiation. But we're not standing in their way. Again, if it's good, if it has something that's of interest to readers, we're in favor of it. We want to make it happen. We have a custom content business that's part of our business, and I take very seriously the fact that these companies want to tailor messages that people are going to read. If it's just propaganda, nobody's going to read it. Right? It's useless. It's a waste of money. They know that. I mean, they don't want to waste their money. So they're actually creating content that readers want to see. In that sense, they become our competition as well as our partners. It's funny. Now that's 21st century right there.
Yeah. It's a balancing act for sure. But it brings me to the question, though, because it is so easy. I mean, I technically could go out and set up my own news site with relatively minimal dollars.
Absolutely.
Is journalism in danger of being damaged because of that? Is good hardcore journalism, the stuff that would come from the New York Times or from the Wall Street Journal, or is that because of cost and competition.
Yeah,
Is that in danger?
There are risks. I think business models are under siege. If you were just in the old days, just kind of raking in the dollars from a print publication with a particular reach, you can't do that anymore as easily as you once did. You can't rely on that. The cliche is sort of trading print dollars for digital dimes, right? Yeah. That is a risk, and so the financing comes under fire. You've got to build a very, very large audience to make up the kind of money that you used to be able to get on the back of a regional newspaper. So the finance aspect of it is real. On the other hand, we still have some pretty rich media companies out there. I don't think that taken as a whole, media companies are going to go away. The other part of it is, how do you find an independent voice? How do you, as a journalist these days, produce content that really compels people to read it when there's so much competition, including, as I said, from the people that used to be your advertisers and now they're your competitors? It's not impossible, but it's a set of challenges that we didn't face in the 20th century.
What do you look for? You're an editor. What do you look for in a reporter or a writer?
Great question. I just want somebody to tell me a great story. At the end of the day, for all of our sophistication, for all of our cynicism or kind of jadedness, everybody loves a great story. And somebody who can tell me a story from the beginning and middle and end, fantastic characters, in-depth detail, that thing you only get from reporting, not just kind of sitting back. Right. It's always gonna sell itself. And it's rare. I have to say, we're always looking for new writers. There's still a seller's market in a sense for great writers. And that's one of the reasons why I'm still so happy to have a print outlet. Telling a story on a website, you can do it, but it's not quite the same. Great example. I mean, you were showing some of our covers earlier. Jessica Ma, who is on our September cover for the Inc. 500, she runs a company called In Dinero on the West Coast. It's sort of a mint.com for small businesses. She had her staff her staff asked us to get 4 versions of the cover and have everybody in our office sign it in a silver pen, and she's going to frame it. She's 25 years old, and she's on the cover of Inc. magazine. There's nothing you can put on your phone that's going to match that.
Right.
There's still something. It's a small distinction, but it's a really crucial distinction. There's still something so great about print. And long may it last. I love still editing a physical magazine.
How do you determine what's going to be in the physical magazine versus what's going to be on the website and the timing of it all?
Yeah, great question. They're such different beasts. So the magazine comes out 10 times a year. Roughly speaking, there are let's say 40 to 45 pieces in every issue of the magazine. We publish 60 or 70 pieces a day on Inc.com. So the volume, just for starters, is completely disproportionate. Second, the magazine has a circulation of approximately 700,000 people, 750, whatever it is, most of which is paid. Also interesting, we'll put that to one side. 750,000 people. The website reaches something like 13 million unique visitors a month. So again, tremendous discrepancy in the size of the audience. I think in the entire United States, there are only about 6 million businesses with more than 2 employees. So in theory, at 13 million, we're reaching every small business in the country and then some. So what do you do, right? How do you produce content that those people want to read, but remain true to the brand. The magazine is very, very focused on what you need to know to run your business, and some interesting stories about people who made it happen. Right. The website is about a million different things. I mean, it's leadership, personal productivity, to some degree, advocacy. People saying we should do this about Obamacare, we should not do this about Obamacare. It's the website is like a big cacophonous party. The magazine remains really, really targeted, and that for now works for us. That helps us keep our brand identity. But Jeff, I'll be honest, it could change next year. It could change the following year. That's the nature of the business these days.
You've been in this job with Inc. for what, roughly a year?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to take it the next 5 years?
Especially with print, the most important task is to continue to serve that founder, that CEO, that person who founded her own company. We want to make sure that she is as up to date and informed and armed as she can be. Digitally, I want it to be, like I said, a cacophonous party. I want it to be a loud, noisy, multi-voice place where the conversation about entrepreneurship happens, where people talk to each other. That if I could make that happen, if you can create the party space where this founder from Detroit is talking to this founder from Tallahassee, and they are sharing stories, swapping stories. Right. I want to be that place. That's where I want to go.
Yeah, interesting. Will video be more and more?
Video is important. It's certainly advertisers are very interested in video. The getting the right kind of video is another challenge. I mean, we do a lot of just kind of point the camera to a CEO and have that person talk. Right. That's good. That's fine. We can do more. Right. One of the things that we're doing lately that I'm really excited about, we're working with Marcus Lemonis, who does The Prophet on CNBC. It was a tremendous show. If your viewers have not seen it,
it's a good show.
He goes into these businesses that are struggling, like on the verge of bankruptcy, and he kind of rips through them, and he finds the problem at the heart of it. And the heart of it is usually conflict. It's personal conflict. Right, a brother and a sister don't get along, a husband and a wife, whatever it is. So we're doing a show with Marcus now on Inc.com where he gives advice to small businesses, and it's 3 minutes. It's not a half-hour TV show. It's a consolidated, edited 3-minute version of that. That's exciting. I think there's lots to be done with people telling their stories. There's lots to be done about lessons from successful business people and how you apply that to your own business. There's a kind of almost educational aspect that I think we could do more with video. Videos, it's super important, but it's also very hard. It's hard to do well, and we're still finding our way.
The Inc. 500 and the Inc. 5000, two of the things that you're really known for, that list of businesses. How do you determine who's going to be on that list?
I mean, this is perhaps the most important part of our franchise. The Inc. 500, Inc. 5000 is a measure of the fastest growing businesses in the United States. We get thousands and thousands of applicants who give us data about their businesses that they probably don't even share with their spouses or with the IRS. But in order to get on the list, you've got to tell us what your revenues were for the last 3 years. And so it is a measure of growth over a 3-year period. So you have to have been in business for 3 years, first of all. That's obvious. And then we vet them. We ask them for more documentation, and then once we're satisfied, we rank them on a list. No one else does this. I mean, the government comes to us to sort of look at these things because they're interested in job creation and sort of all these things. Sure. We are the authoritative voice for fast-growing businesses in the United States, and it's a gas. It's just so much fun to do. And again, we just had our annual Inc. 5000 conference in Orlando last month, and you meet these people, and they're so psyched. They're all doing really well, right? Yeah. A colleague of mine says, you go to any kind of business conference, and maybe half the room, their businesses are like underwater, right? They're like half of them are on the verge of bankruptcy. You don't know which half. Right. At the Inc. 5000, they're all excited. They're all happy. Everybody's happy because this is it. They're at the top of their game. It's so gratifying and so exhilarating and so inspiring. All their stories are amazing. And to be able to capture that is, I think, what makes us unique as a publication.
Got about 1 minute left. I know you're working on a book about an interesting topic that we could talk for 30 minutes on monetary policy. What should we look for on that?
Well, what I'm trying to do, Jeff, is specifically look at the history of gold. The history of gold in the United States, the way that it has shaped our politics, the way our politics have shaped our attitudes toward gold. If you watch the Republican debates, you saw recently Ted Cruz talk about restoring the United States to a gold standard. This is a hot issue among Republican voters, and I'm trying to figure out why. What is it about that idea that is so appealing to so many people? And what you find when you dig through the history is it is part of what defines us as Americans. It's a great story, and gosh, I've got to finish it.
Yeah. Well, when you finish it, come back.
I sure will.
Fascinating story. James Ledbetter, what a pleasure.
Great to meet you.
Enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
You bet. James Ledbetter. He is the editor of Inc. magazine and Inc.com. And by the way, speaking of digital fun, you can find more of our conversations online at WSRE.org/conversations. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. I'm Jeff Weeks. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Take great care of yourself. We'll see you soon. Good stuff.
Support for this program is provided in part by these corporate sponsors. And by viewers like you.